distinctly remember sort of the first time I was like, "Hey, I'm going for a run." And if you've ever done that, it's an interesting experience. I think I made it about a half a mile before the questions that a lot of people experience entered my mind. Why am I doing this? This is awful. I hate this. I'd rather be eating a plate of nachos. Before I started running, and what really drove me to begin running was really the birth of my son. So that happened in 2009. Also, around that time, I was the heaviest I had been in my entire life. And I had a blood pressure reading from a recent physical that was pre-hypertensive. It was my systolic was about 139, 140, 142. So I started to have a little bit of panic. So that's how I really got into running. That's where it all began. The birth of my son, and some not so great blood pressure readings from my doctor. The changes, like physiologically, obviously, I slimmed down quite a bit just from the concept that you're running and aerobic exercise and those things that your PE teachers try to tell you that are important, and it is important. And so physiologically, I watched my blood pressure go from 139, 142 for the systolic down to 120 on a consistent basis. So those are the physiological changes. I experienced an ability, mentally to escape from life. Some runners say that they have their best thinking sessions and meditation when they're running, and I'm pretty much the exact opposite. My mind doesn't think about anything. The only thing I think about is running and what I'm doing and my next step. And it's comforting sometimes just to turn your mind off, and that's what running does for me. Is I'm able to turn my mind off and just participate in that activity, and I don't have to think about the other million things I have going on. So it's been kind of a nice release for me mentally, just to turn my mind off. The choice to choose running is sort of part of my family. My wife runs, so that's kind of where it started. Like I watched her train for half marathons and go on runs, and I never really wanted to be a part of it. And my inspiration in running comes from a lot of different people. On a personal level, there's a couple guys in the area. Used to be a math teacher here. Matt Brooks is a phenomenal inspiration to running. Not really because of his accomplishments, but because of his ability to be incredibly humble. You're not going to meet somebody who is that talented of a runner and that capable of doing such great things with that humility. And I really, truly appreciate that about him, and it really inspires me. And then the president of there's actually a club here in Kankakee called the Kankakee River Running Club. The president of that club, his name's Kamphuis. Rono. He is truly an inspiration to all runners. He first of all is not ever interested in his own personal glory. He too is very humble, and he sits there after races and helps numerous athletes get across the finish line the last 100 meters or so, and it's just always an inspiration to watch him go about his business. So those two guys really, on a day-to-day basis, just help to remind me why this sport's important, why running is important to people, and in general, athletics. Coaching cross country sort of began a few years ago. Actually, my first coaching gig in cross country was an assistant coach with a head coach here who went by the name Kamphuis. That was my first year coaching cross country. Coached some real great athletes. Sarah Higgins, who went to Bradley University, Division I runner. I had nothing to do with that. Nolan Grace, still communicate with him today. Really great kid. And Marty Hins, also a really good runner. That was my first experience, and I was not at all devoted to running at that point. I was just somebody who could come and help inspire kids to be better. So I did that for a year, but then I got away from cross country and was still coaching wrestling at that point here at BBCHS. And then I had an opportunity to get back into cross country about 6 years ago with Coach Zipper as the head coach. And I was lucky enough, for her to accept me back into the program with open arms and energy and excitement. And it went from there. And Coach Zipper went on to mother her children, and time sometimes slips away from you. And I was able to take that opportunity to become head coach. So I appreciate it. I wouldn't say that I view myself as inspirational. What I hope for is that the program that Coach Bart and I are running is one that others gravitate towards, because I do feel like I can help every person in the school be a better runner and a better person, and that's really the way that I try to coach. I'm not really concerned about glory. I mean, sure, I always want to beat the green school whenever we line up against them on a race, without a doubt. I want my athletes to find success. I want our team to find success. But at the end of the day, I just want the athletes to be better people, get something out of running like I have. So I would say that on a personal level, I don't try to see myself as an inspiration to others. I truly just want our program, BBXC, with the help of Bruno, I want our program to be the inspiration to others that, hey, this is a great place where I'm going to come, be welcomed. I'm going to learn a lot about myself, and at the same time, maybe become a better runner. So that's really the reflection that I want to leave to others, is what that program does, the family atmosphere that cross country at BBCHS has become.
I thought the idea of building a robot was pretty cool. But then, as I met the team, I realized that, well, yes, I came for the robot. I stayed because of the family that was being created and the culture that was being made that was so welcoming and warm to everyone.
Founded in 1989 by inventor and entrepreneur Dean Kamen, an organization called FIRST has held STEM-centric competitions around the world for all grade levels, featuring games or challenges for student-built robots and machines to play against other students' creations. There are over 2,500 FRC teams in the United States alone, all of which unite students from many different backgrounds under a few common goals: build a robot, spread the values of STEM, and improve their respective communities. The success and appeal of FIRST can be boiled down to two main ideas: gracious professionalism and cooperation. Gracious professionalism is a set of values that promote high-quality work and teaches that intense competition and an eye on victory don't have to exclude mutual gain and fostering an environment of cooperation with other teams. It's not competition for the sake of dominating the opposition. It's competition for the sake of building up your fellow students and cultivating an environment of positivity. This high regard of other teams, even those who may be future opponents, is called cooperation. Cooperation means that teams can help and teach each other instead of becoming bitter enemies. These values are promoted by and ingrained in all teams that participate in FIRST competitions and foster a very approachable environment where there is mutual respect, empathy, and sportsmanship all around. Just as those already in the FIRST sphere, these values caught the attention of BBCHS's own Mark Hampton. In April of 2015, Mr. and Mrs. Hampton, accompanied by several students, attended the Illinois Midwest Regional as spectators. Later that month, the Hamptons, those students, and Dr. Wakely approached the BBCHS Board of Education with an idea that would impact the lives of many students: BBCHS needs an FRC team. The board supported their proposal, and a meeting was held in Mr. Hampton's room to introduce BBCHS to FIRST. Between the two meetings, over 80 students attended to see what FIRST was all about. After suggestions were put to a vote, it was decided that the team's name would be IRONCLAD, FRC Team 5847. Build season kicked off in the 2015-2016 school year. The 6 weeks that made up build season flew by, and the hard work and long hours put in by many students paid off, culminating in IRONCLAD's first robot, Talos. Talos was created to play in the 2015 game First Stronghold, in which robots had to breach their opponent's defenses and weaken the enemy tower by shooting boulders into it. IRONCLAD competed in the Central Illinois Regional and the Midwest Regional in 2016 and qualified for the first championship by taking home the Rookie All-Star Award at the Midwest Regional. Moving on to Champs as a rookie team was a very exciting introduction to the world of FIRST for the students of 5847. After competition season ended, IRONCLAD and Talos showed up at many events throughout the community, like the Kankakee Farmers Market, the Barnes & Noble Maker Fair, and the Friendship Festival, just to name a few, assisting people in whatever way possible and showing the community that IRONCLAD is a team that gives back. In the 2016-2017 school year, IRONCLAD, now a year more experienced, built Athena, a robot that would go on to play in the 2017 game First Steamworks, where alliances of 3 teams must shoot fuel into a boiler to build up steam pressure or deliver gears to an airship, then climb on board to take off at the end of each match. Competing once again in the Central Illinois Regional and the Midwest Regional, IRONCLAD managed to move on to the first championship once again, taking second place to a pre-qualified team at the Central Illinois Regional. At the moment, that's where the story ends. On April 26th, IRONCLAD will be headed off to the first championship in St. Louis. Wish us luck.